Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are opening a file that feels, at least initially, like it fell right out of a paperback rack in a 1940s drugstore.
It really does. You can almost smell the cheap paper and the stale cigarette smoke.
We have the tough guys, the missing husband, well, maybe not a classic femme fatale, but something close, and the neon mirage of Las Vegas.
But as we've learned time and time again, the difference between noir fiction and real-life casework is that in real life, the blood doesn't wash out of the carpet quite as easily.
And the endings are rarely as tidy as the last page of a novel.
Not even close. We're looking at a case file from the archives involving a Boston private investigator named Spenser. The file itself is labeled Chance.
Chance. It's such a loaded word for this specific deep dive, isn't it? Because as we're going to see, everyone in this story is gambling on something.
Oh, absolutely. And not just at the blackjack tables. They're gambling with their lives, their marriages, their sanity.
So, let's set the scene. It's a calm Monday here in 2026, but we're looking back at the source material provided to us. We're talking about Spenser. And the first thing, the absolute first thing you need to understand about him in this specific instance is his bank balance.
It sounds trivial, doesn't it? Starting a murder investigation by checking the detective's ledger.
Right. Who cares how much money he has?
But in this case, it is the defining variable. Spenser describes himself as bucks up. He had just closed a major insurance case. He was sitting in his office, looking at a very healthy bank balance, and he was genuinely debating whether to retire, buy a new gun, or maybe just take a nap.
And why does that matter? Why should you, the listener, care if Spenser is rich or poor?
Because leverage is everything. Usually in the private investigator game, you're hungry. You need that retainer just to pay the rent.
Sure, you're desperate.
Exactly. When a client walks in, you might have to swallow your pride or, ignore a pretty big red flag because you need that check. Spenser didn't need the work. He didn't need the money.
Which gave him total agency.
Total agency. He could be insolent, he could be ethical, and most importantly, he could walk away at any moment. He takes this case not out of desperation, but out of curiosity.
And maybe a little bit of boredom. Enter the cure for boredom, Julius Ventura. Now, if you know anything about the Boston underworld in this era, that name rings a bell. But it's not the biggest bell in the tower.
No, not at all. Julius is middle management. And in organized crime, middle management is probably the most stressful place to be. You have wolves below you wanting your spot, and a lion above you just watching for any mistake.
So he's squeezed.
Very squeezed. Julius Ventura was connected to the Outfit, specifically an organization run by a man named Gino Fish. And Julius wasn't just a tough guy. He was a man who, as the files note, paid so much attention to being tough that he didn't pay attention to much else.
He walks in with his daughter, Shirley, and the source material gives us such a vivid, almost painful picture of her.
It really does. She's described as sullen, wearing a red outfit, a single-piece top, and shorts that look like a skirt, with these bright red heels.
And she has this habit, this nervous tic of sucking on her lower lip. She looks, frankly, a bit out of place in a detective's office.
It's a tragic aesthetic, isn't it? She is wearing a diamond solitaire the size of a skating rink, but her whole affect is that of a pouty child.
It's like she's playing dress-up in her mother's clothes.
Exactly. And she seems completely oblivious to the nature of her father's business, or perhaps she's just willfully ignoring it. And she is certainly oblivious to the nature of her husband.
The husband, the MacGuffin of our first act, Anthony Meeker.
Phony Tony.
We'll get to that. So Julius Ventura lays it out. He tells Spenser that Anthony has been gone for 3 days. Julius thinks Anthony just took off with a bimbo.
Yeah, his words. Very crude.
But Shirley, the daughter, is convinced Anthony loves her and would, quote, stand on his head for her.
And right away, we see the disconnect. It's a chasm. The father sees a bum who he's kept off welfare. The daughter sees a romantic hero.
And Spenser, what does Spenser see?
Spenser sees a lie. But before we get to the investigation itself, we have to talk about that meeting. It's comedy gold.
Oh, it's fantastic. It sets the tone for Spenser's whole approach. Julius Ventura is trying so hard to be the scary mobster.
He gives Spenser the hard look.
Yeah.
The stare down. He's trying to intimidate him.
He threatens Spenser, basically saying, you take the case, but you don't mess with me. He's trying to assert dominance in Spenser's own territory.
And Spenser's reaction is just textbook de-escalation through absurdity. A lesser man might have puffed up his chest, met force with force.
But Spenser, he asks Julius if people usually faint when he gives them the hard stare.
He asks if they slide down in their chair with their tongue hanging out.
And then, and this is in the official account, you can't make this up, Spenser actually demonstrates it. He lolls his head back, goes limp, and lets his tongue hang out, right in front of a mob captain.
It is suicidal, but it is brilliant. It establishes right away that Spenser cannot be intimidated by theatrics. He's not playing that game.
But there's a deeper question here that we need to unpack. This is really the first mystery of the case.
I agree.
Why is Julius Ventura, a man with significant resources and people of his own, hiring an independent investigator like Spenser?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? If you're a mob boss and your son-in-law goes missing, don't you usually send your own guys? Don't you send a couple of neck breakers to drag him back by his ear?
You'd think so. It's an internal family matter.
Precisely. The fact that he came to Spenser, and specifically that he tried to get Spenser's associate, Hawk, involved first, well, it suggests internal conflict.
It suggests that whatever Anthony Meeker has done, Julius doesn't want his own organization, or more importantly, his boss, Gino Fish, to know about it yet.
He needs discretion. He needs an outsider. He needs a cutout. He's trying to solve a problem before his own boss finds out he has one.
So Spenser takes the case, mostly because Julius told him not to poke around, and Spenser just hates being told what to do.
It's his defining personality trait.
He starts digging into the profile of this missing husband, Anthony Meeker. Shirley says he's in finance.
Finance. That is, we're doing a lot of heavy lifting in that sentence.
Right. So Spenser goes to a place called the Starlight Lounge. It's a dive bar that used to be a bait shop, painted dark blue. You can almost smell the stale beer and desperation just reading the file.
Mm-hmm. And he talks to the staff there, Vic the bouncer, and a dancer named Dixie. And the picture of Anthony Meeker shifts dramatically.
He isn't a financial wizard. He's phony Tony.
This is a crucial pivot in the investigation. We move from a simple missing person case to a profile of a delusional gambling addict. Dixie, the dancer, she reveals that Anthony was dating her on the side.
So Julius was right about the bimbo part.
He was. But more importantly, she reveals his obsession. He wasn't just gambling. He had a system. He believed he could beat Las Vegas.
He wanted to bust the town.
Exactly. And this is where the psychology of the chance file really kicks in. Anthony wasn't running away from his marriage solely for another woman. He was running toward a delusion of grandeur.
He thought he had cracked the code of blackjack. He thought he was smarter than the house.
Which is the classic gambler's fallacy. I have a system, I can control the uncontrollable. And for a guy like Anthony, who lives under the thumb of his powerful, intimidating father-in-law, that illusion of control is, well, it's intoxicating.
He doesn't want money. He wants mastery.
That's it, exactly. He wants to be the one in charge for once.
So Spenser has a lead. Anthony is likely in Vegas. But before he can even pack his bags, he needs backup. And this is where we get to meet one of the most enigmatic and formidable figures in these files, Hawk.
Hawk, Spenser's associate. And to call him a sidekick would be a gross misunderstanding of their dynamic.
Oh, absolutely. He's no one's sidekick.
Hawk is an equal. He's dangerous, incredibly stylish, and he operates on a level of unspoken communication with Spenser that speaks to years of shared history and survival.
Spenser finds him at the Harbor Health Club boxing gym. And the source description is, Great Hawk is wearing a shirt that says, yes, it's a black thing. He's working the heavy bag. And Spenser just leans on the bag while Hawk hits it.
The description of the sound, a continuous hum, because he's hitting it so fast, tells you everything you need to know about Hawk's capability. But notice the condition Hawk sets for taking the job.
Right. Julius Ventura originally approached Hawk, and Hawk turned him down flat.
But now he agrees. But only if Spenser takes the lead.
Why? Why does Hawk defer to Spenser here? He's clearly just as, if not more, capable.
Because Hawk predicts trouble. He smells a rat with Julius Ventura. He knows that if he leads the investigation, bodies are going to drop immediately. That's just how Hawk solves problems.
So he's a pragmatist.
Absolutely. He knows Spenser will try to talk his way out of things first. He's basically using Spenser as a governor on his own violence.
And trouble finds them almost immediately. Spenser notices he's being followed. The tail.
A large man in a Patriots jacket. A real slugger type. Spenser spots him outside his office, then again on Newbury Street. Now, most people would try to lose a tail. Spenser, he confronts him.
And this confrontation in the public garden is a masterclass in professional confidence. He doesn't just fight the guy, he outsmarts him verbally.
He lures him into a quiet spot. And when the guy tries to fight, Spenser physically dismantles him with these short, controlled, precise punches. But the key takeaway isn't the fight, it's what he gets out of the guy.
The admission. The tale admits he works for Marty Anaheim.
And this brings a new player onto the board. A very, very dangerous player. Who is Marty Anaheim?
The file says he is the #1 enforcer for Gino Fish.
So if Julius Ventura is the captain, Gino Fish is the general. And Marty is the executioner. He is a genuine psychopath. The files recount this story where Marty beat a man to death with a pool cue.
Over a football bet.
Yeah, just because the guy made a joke about the Patriots losing the Super Bowl.
That is terrifying. And it completely shifts the stakes of this case. We aren't dealing with just a jealous father-in-law anymore.
Not at all. We are dealing with the top of the food chain. Marty Anaheim, having Spenser followed, means that Gino Fish knows Spenser's on the case.
Exactly. The firewall has been breached. Julius failed to keep it quiet. So Spenser, being Spenser, decides to go straight to the source. He arranges a sit-down with Gino Fish.
And this meeting is fascinating for the contrast it presents. You have Spenser, who is irreverent and, a bit of a wise ass.
And you have Gino Fish, who is articulate, polite, speaks like a Yale graduate, even though he educated himself in prison. Gino talks about checks and balances in his organization.
He represents the corporatization of crime. He's not a thug. He's a CEO. And he tells Spenser very politely that he has a problem.
And that problem is irregularities.
Money is missing. Gino hints that Anthony Meeker, who acted as a courier between Julius and Gino, might be skimming. This changes the entire complexion of the case. Anthony isn't just a husband who ran off with a girlfriend.
He's an embezzler who stole from the mob.
Which explains why Julius wanted to keep it so quiet. If his son-in-law stole from the big boss, Julius is on the hook for that money.
Of course. He's on the hook for the money and for the insult.
Exactly. Julius trying to find Anthony and the money before Gino finds out. But Gino already suspects it's a race.
So the race leads to one place, Las Vegas. Spenser and Hawk pack their bags, and they bring along a third person, Susan Silverman.
Susan is vital here. She's Spenser's partner, a psychologist. She brings a grounding presence, but also a very sharp analytical mind.
She's not just along for the ride.
No, not at all. She helps Spenser process the psychological aspects of all the players involved. Plus, her presence underscores that Spenser treats this, at least initially, as a job he can handle. He's confident enough to turn it into a partial vacation.
They check into the Mirage. The source material describes the luxury suite and specifically the mirrored ceilings.
The mirrored ceiling is such a perfect detail. It represents the distortion of Vegas. Everything is a reflection, a mirage. Anthony thinks he's a high roller, but he's a thief. Julius thinks he's a boss, but he's a pawn. The mirrors just show you what you want to see.
But the vacation vibe doesn't last long. They pick up a new tale.
A little guy in a Panama hat. Bernard J. Fortunate, a professional investigator. He's very discreet. He's following them everywhere.
Which confirms that the eyes of Boston are on them, even in the desert.
The network is long.
But they find Anthony. It actually doesn't take them that long, does it?
No, because Anthony wants to be seen. He's at the blackjack tables at the Mirage. And here's the twist. He is winning. His system, against all statistical odds, seems to be working.
But Spenser notices something else. Anthony isn't alone. He's registered at the hotel as Mr. and Mrs. Ralph Davis.
So Spenser and Hawk corner him at the bar, and Anthony, he just falls apart. He's terrified, but he's not afraid of the police.
No, he's terrified of Marty Anaheim.
This confirms the connection. Anthony admits that he and Marty had a deal.
So Anthony and Marty were working together, skim from Gino.
It seems that way.
Yeah.
And it also seems that Anthony double-crossed him. Anthony has this belief that if he can just win enough money, he can pay everyone back, Julius, Marty, and then escape to a new life.
It's the ultimate gambler's fallacy. Just one more big win, and I fix everything.
Precisely. He's borrowing time against a debt he can never truly repay. He thinks math can solve a personnel problem.
And then the bottom just drops out. The entire tone of the investigation shifts instantly from a kind of quirky caper to a flat-out tragedy.
Murder.
Julius Ventura calls Spenser. He is in a rage. His daughter, Shirley, the one who would stand on her head for Anthony, has gone missing. She apparently came to Vegas to find her husband.
And the Las Vegas police, specifically detectives Romero and Cooper, bring Spenser to a vacant lot. The description in the files is grim, just brutal.
Shirley Ventura is found dead. It's a horrible crime. She was beaten, raped, and strangled. And she was found naked.
And this is the detail that gave me chills reading the file. Spenser's business card was found near the body.
That was not an accident.
No, that was a calculated move. The killer stripped her of all identification, no purse, no clothes, to delay identification. But they left the card. It links Spenser directly to the crime scene, forcing him into the center of the investigation. It creates chaos.
So Spenser has an alibi. He was with Susan, but now he's a person of interest, and he has to ask the hard question. Who killed Shirley?
The motive is murky. Was it a random crime? A crime of opportunity by a stranger? The police have to consider that.
Sure, it's Vegas. Anything can happen.
But in the context of the other players, it feels targeted. It feels personal.
Could it be Anthony?
Anthony has a window of opportunity. He wasn't under surveillance for about 4 hours that night. But does it fit his profile? He's a weasel, a scammer. But is he a brutal killer?
Doesn't seem like it. Guys like Phony Tony are usually cowards. They run, they don't confront.
My thoughts exactly.
Okay.
And then there's Marty Anaheim. Hawk spots Marty at the MGM Grand. We know Marty is in town. And we know Marty is capable of extreme violence. We just have to remember the pool cue.
Marty becomes the prime suspect in Spenser's mind. But why kill Shirley?
Maybe she got in the way. Or maybe it was pure, unadulterated rage. If Marty was hunting Anthony and found Shirley instead, Marty is an engine of violence. Shirley was just collateral damage in a war she didn't even know she was fighting.
Well, let's look at the other woman in the equation, the so-called Mrs. Davis. Spenser goes to confront Anthony in his hotel room.
He demands to know who this woman is. Anthony's trying to hide her, keeps her in the room, ordering room service. But Spenser just pushes his way in.
And the reveal is absolutely shocking. The woman isn't a random showgirl. It's Bibi.
Bibi Anaheim, Marty Anaheim's wife.
This changes everything. This explains Marty's personal stake in the hunt. It's not just about the stolen money anymore. It's about possession.
Anthony didn't just steal the mob's cash. He stole the enforcer's wife. It's the ultimate transgression.
And Bibi's story is just heartbreaking. She tells Spenser about her life with Marty. He abused her for years. Systematically, she felt trapped.
And Anthony Tony offered her a lifeline, a way out.
It's a shared delusion, isn't it? Anthony offered her a dream. They would open a bookstore in Oregon.
A bookstore. Just get enough money, get out of the life, and run a quiet bookstore with a cat in the window. It's such a gentle, innocent dream, contrasted against the brutal violence of their reality.
But why would she trust Anthony, a guy like that?
Because he wasn't Marty. He wasn't violent. She mistook his weakness for kindness. She thought because he wasn't a monster, he must be a savior.
But to get there, she had to betray Marty. And Anthony had to betray Marty.
And Anthony reveals that Marty actually introduced them. Marty and Anthony had a deal going, likely the skimming operation. Anthony used that access to steal the cash and the wife.
So now we have a standoff, a pressure cooker in that hotel. Julius Ventura is in town. He wants Anthony dead because he blames him for Shirley's murder.
Marty Anaheim is in town. He wants Anthony dead and his wife back.
And Anthony is panicking, completely losing it.
Anthony's desperation peaks here. He makes this absurd offer. He offers Spenser and Hawk $10,000 to kill Julius and Marty.
Which is just, it's pathetic. He thinks he can buy a hit on 2 major mob heavyweights for 10 grand.
It shows how detached from reality he is. He thinks life is just a transaction. Spenser and Hawk, of course, refuse. And then Anthony does what Anthony does best.
He runs.
He abandons Bibi. He waits until she is in the bathroom. He takes their stash of cash, the getaway money, and flees the hotel.
And he leaves her with nothing. No money, no protection, and a psychopathic husband hunting her down who wants to kill her.
This is the moment Phony Tony becomes the true villain of the piece for me. He used Bibi as a prop for his ego, and when the bill came due, he tossed her aside to save his own skin.
It validates Spenser's initial assessment of him perfectly. He had no core. He was empty.
And this is where Spenser stops being just an investigator and starts being a protector. He realizes Bibi is a sitting duck.
He can't find Anthony. He's in the wind, but he can try to save Bibi.
But first, Spenser has to deal with the heavyweights. He goes to see Julius in his suite.
And this scene is heavy. Julius is with his wife, Iris. They're grieving. The tough guy facade cracks just a little bit, but the anger underneath is solid.
He fires Spenser. He says this is blood. He intends to hunt Anthony down himself. He doesn't care about the money anymore. It's about revenge.
Then Spenser finds Marty on a pedestrian overpass on the Las Vegas Strip.
A very public, yet very private place. This confrontation is visceral. Marty isn't hiding anything. He claims ownership of Bibi. He says she'll come back. It's the abuser's mantra. He believes he owns her.
And he punches Spenser, gives him a black eye, a shiner. It's a warning.
Spenser just takes it. He's playing the long game. He needs to get Bibi out. And Hawk steps in, and this is crucial. Hawk backs Marty down. Even a psychopath like Marty Anaheim knows that fighting Hawk is a death sentence.
So Spenser realizes he has to get Bibi out of Vegas immediately. He and Hawk hatch a plan.
They give her the retainer money they got from Julius, $5,000. It's all they have. They put her on a Southwest flight to Los Angeles.
They arrange for a contact in LA, a man named Cholo, to meet her at the gate. It's a solid plan. Get her out of the kill zone, break the trail.
They watch her board the plane. They see the plane take off. It feels like a win. They save the girl.
It feels like the only win available in this incredibly messy situation.
Yeah.
But here's the tragedy of this case. The phone rings in Spenser's hotel room later that night. It's Cholo.
She never showed.
She got on the plane. Spenser watched her board. But she never met Cholo. She vanished.
And that is the haunting ambiguity of this file. Did she get scared and run? Did she see Cholo, who was described as a rough-looking guy, and think he was another one of Marty's thugs?
Or did she just decide she was done being saved by men?
That's a powerful thought. Maybe she decided to save herself.
So Spenser flies back to Boston. The case is a complete mess. Anthony is in the wind. Shirley is dead. Bibi is missing.
But Spenser isn't one to let loose ends if he can help it. He goes back to Gino Fish.
Round 2 with the big boss. At Gino's home in Cohasset, it's fancy ocean views, silk-clad assistant, the whole 9 yards.
Gino is more candid this time, but still very guarded. He admits there were irregularities. He admits Marty left his employ abruptly.
Which implies Gino fired Marty.
Or worse. In that world, left employ often means is no longer breathing. Gino is cleaning house. The corporate structure survives, even if the employees don't.
And Gino claims to know nothing of Bibi's whereabouts.
But there is a key moment here where Hawk says, "We soft-hearted." And Gino seems to grant them permission to keep looking for Bibi.
It's a subtle permission, though. Gino doesn't care about Bibi, but he's curious. He wants to know where all the loose ends are.
He's an information broker.
Spenser tries one last Hail Mary to find Bibi. He goes to her high school, Fairhaven High. He gets his hands on the 1977 yearbook.
This is such a poignant scene. He finds her. Beatrice Acosta, most congenial. She was in the drama club. Her quote was, "Hey, Abby, where's the party?" It's a ghost of the girl she was before Marty Anaheim.
It humanizes her. It reminds us that before she was the battered wife or the mall on the run, she was Beatrice. She had friends. She had a life.
And he finds a name, a friend listed in the yearbook, Abigail Olivetti. The file ends with Spenser sitting in his car, dialing Abigail's number.
Trying to salvage one life from the wreckage.
He's still trying, because that's what he does. It's the refusal to let the void win.
Okay, let's unpack this entire saga. This isn't just a story about a missing husband. It's about control, isn't it?
Absolutely. Every single relationship in this file is defined by control. Julius controlling Shirley, Marty controlling Bibi, Anthony trying to control the cards at the table, Gino trying to control his entire organization.
Let's go back to Anthony and his system. What is it about a guy like this? He has a wife who adores him,
Right.
a cushy job provided by her father, and he throws it all away to count cards.
It's the illusion of mastery. I really think that's the core of it. In his life with Julius, Anthony is his subordinate. He's the son-in-law. He's the gopher. He has no real power.
He's a kept man.
He is. But in Las Vegas, with a system, he believes he can be the master of his fate. He can beat the house. It's a rebellion against his own mediocrity. He needs to feel smart, to feel powerful.
And he drags Bibi into it.
He uses Bibi. He needs an audience. Remember what Dixie the stripper told Spenser, that Anthony needs somebody to brag to.
Yeah.
Bibi wasn't a partner in his escape. She was a prop in his fantasy of being a big shot.
And Bibi, my God, she's the most tragic figure here. She jumped from a monster to a fraud.
That is often the pattern for victims of long-term abuse. She saw Anthony as a savior because he wasn't physically violent like Marty was. She mistook his weakness for kindness.
The bookstore dream, that was her dream, really, wasn't it? A safe, quiet place. Anthony just adopted it to seduce her.
I think so. And when the pressure hit, when reality came crashing down, Anthony ran. He left her there to face the very man who beat her. That tells you everything you need to know about Anthony Meeker.
It really does. It validates Spenser's initial assessment. Phony Tony. He had no core, just a collection of appetites and fears.
Precisely.
Now, let's talk about the murder, Shirley. The police treated it as a random attack, or at least they had to investigate it that way. But the source material leaves a lot of open questions.
It does. The brutality suggests a crime of passion, of rage. But the removal of the IDs suggests calculation, a desire to control the timeline of the investigation.
So who do you lean towards? Could it have been Marty?
Marty is the most likely candidate for that level of violence. He was in Vegas. He was enraged. If he found Shirley, perhaps thinking she could lead him to Anthony, he might have taken all that rage out on her. It sends a message to Julius, and it sends a message to Anthony.
But why leave Spenser's card?
To muddy the waters, to make Spenser a suspect, to slow him down, to create chaos. Marty is cunning. He's not just a brute. He knew Spenser was tracking him. It was a strategic move in their little war.
And what about Anthony? He had that 4-hour window where he was unaccounted for.
It's possible. If Shirley found him, threatened to blow his cover, threatened to tell Marty where he was, desperation makes people do terrible things. But Anthony seems more like a coward than a killer. He runs. He doesn't confront.
That's a good point. Anthony runs. Marty attacks. That's their fundamental difference.
And we can't completely rule out a random crime. Vegas is a transient place. Shirley was alone, vulnerable, perhaps flashing money or that big diamond ring. It's the cruel randomness of chance, the title of the source file.
Chance. That is the theme here, isn't it? Everyone took a chance.
Anthony took a chance on the cards. Beebe took a chance on Anthony. Shirley took a chance on coming to Vegas to find the husband she believed in.
And they all lost.
They did. The only ones who walked away intact were the professionals. Spenser, Hawk, Gino Fish. The people who don't rely on luck. They rely on preparation, on skill, and on power.
Let's talk about Spenser and Hawk for a minute. Their dynamic in this file is fascinating. Hawk is, well, he's scary.
Hawk is a force of nature. But notice how he operates. He defers to Spenser on the moral decisions, but he takes the lead on the physical threat. When they confront Marty on the overpass, Hawk is the one who backs Marty down. Even Marty Anaheim, the psychopath, knows not to mess with Hawk.
There's that scene in the health club where Spenser is leaning on the heavy bag while Hawk hits it. The source says Hawk hit it so fast the sound ran together, and Spenser just trusts him implicitly.
It's a bond, forged in violence and mutual respect. They understand the rules of the street in a way Anthony never could. Anthony thought he could buy them off with $10,000. He didn't understand that for men like Spenser and Hawk, it's not about the money. It's about the code.
And Spenser's code drives him to try and save Beebe, even after the client fires him and his face is bruised.
That is the defining characteristic of Spenser. He cannot walk away from a damsel in distress, even if the damsel is the wife of a mob enforcer who just punched him in the face. He feels a moral obligation to the innocent, or at least to the victims.
Even if he fails.
Even if he fails. And he did fail here, in a sense. Shirley died. Beebe vanished. Anthony got away with the money. It's not a neat ending.
It's messy. It feels real.
It feels like life. Sometimes you do everything right, and the girl still doesn't get off the plane.
Speaking of not getting off the plane, what do you think happened to Beebe? Where did she go?
That is the lingering mystery, isn't it? I mean, did she spot Chalo and get scared? Maybe. Did she just decide she didn't want to be saved by another man? Possibly. My hope is that she took that $5,000 and went to find her own bookstore, somewhere where no one knew her name.
I'd like to hope that, too.
It's the one ray of hope in the whole file, that Beatrice Costa from the yearbook, most congenial. Maybe she finally found the party. Or maybe she just found peace.
Which, after Marty and Anthony, might be the best party of all.
I think you're right.
So what does this deep dive teach us? It teaches us that the line between a dream and a delusion is razor thin. Anthony thought he was chasing a dream. He was just running toward a cliff.
And it teaches us about the collateral damage of that delusion. Shirley and Beebe were pulled into Anthony's vortex and torn apart.
It also gives us a masterclass in the Boston mob hierarchy of that time. Gino Fish, the CEO criminal, Julius Ventura, the stressed-out middle management, and Marty Anaheim, the HR department from hell.
And Spenser, the independent consultant who just refuses to play by their corporate rules.
I want to go back to the system for a second. The blackjack system. Did it actually work? I mean, the file says Anthony was winning?
In the short term, yes. Spenser noted that Anthony was betting progressively. He was likely counting cards, to an extent. But as Spenser and Hawk discussed, to make counting work, you need hundreds of hours. You need a huge bankroll. Anthony had a getaway stash, but he was playing with scared money, and scared money always loses eventually.
Because the pressure gets to you.
Exactly. When Julius and Marty closed in, Anthony couldn't focus on the count. He panicked. The system works in a vacuum. It doesn't work when you have a death sentence hanging over your head.
That's a great point. The environment matters. He calculated the cards, but he didn't calculate the people.
And he certainly didn't calculate Shirley. Her arrival was the wild card that toppled his whole house of cards.
It shattered his anonymity. He was Mr. Davis until Shirley showed up. Then he was Anthony Meeker, the guy who stole from Gino Fish.
Game over.
I can't get the image of the mirrored ceiling out of my head. The file mentions it when Spenser and Susan arrive. It represents the distortion of Vegas, doesn't it?
It does. Everything in Vegas is a reflection, a mirage, the volcano that erupts on schedule, the pirate ship battles. It's all fake. Just like Anthony's confidence. Just like his promise to Bibi.
And Spenser's the guy who walks in and smashes the mirror.
He forces them to look at reality. And reality is ugly.
So we have a missing husband found, a wife murdered, a mistress vanished, and a detective left with a black eye and a phone number.
It's the definition of a cold case in the making. But knowing Spenser, he won't let it stay cold for long. He'll call Abigail Olivetti. He'll find a thread. He has to.
And he still has the yearbook. That yearbook is such a powerful symbol. It anchors Bibi in her reality before all the crime. It proves she was a person, not just a victim.
It humanizes her. It reminds us that before she was the battered wife or the mall on the run, she was Beatrice. She was most congenial. It gives Spenser a reason to care.
And it gives us a reason to care. Well, we've covered a lot of ground today. From the grimy Starlight Lounge in Lynn to the neon glare of the Vegas Strip. We've met thugs, thieves, and dreamers.
And we've seen that sometimes the most dangerous thing you can do is believe your own hype.
Phony Tony learned that the hard way.
If he's still alive to learn it.
That's a good point. With Marty and Julius after him, his odds are worse than any slot machine.
Much worse.
Before we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with a thought. We often look at these deep dive cases as puzzles to be solved. Who did it? Where is the money? But this file reminds us that investigations are about people. Broken, messy, unpredictable people.
And that justice isn't always about the law or a courtroom. Sometimes it's just about getting someone on a plane to Los Angeles and hoping they make it.
Even if they don't get off the other end.
Even then, the effort matters. The intent matters.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the Chance Files. It's been a ride.
A fascinating one.
As you go about your week, think about the systems in your own life. Are you playing the odds? Or are you relying on luck? And if a guy named Anthony Meeker asks you to invest in a sure thing, maybe just walk away.
And keep an eye out for a guy in a Panama hat.
Always good advice. Until next time, stay curious and keep digging deep.
Take care.